You starting this or am I? Good morning, everybody. Actually, good afternoon, I suppose, because it is noon.
Welcome to the porch. My name is Michelle Ross.
Brian Swanson.
And we are Denim and Pearls.
Business casual.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the porch.
See the pearls? That's the wisdom right here.
That's all the wisdom.
That's it today. Bye.
No more wisdom from the pinky or little, how's that? Yeah, she remembers more or forgot more than I know in my little pinky kind. Anyway.
Our topic today is perceptions. But before we even go there.
Yes.
That button, whatever, that button right there, touch it. And what it will do is you'll be able to, Pussy, stop that. That way you'll be able to know when we go live. And if you are watching and when you're watching, please share this so that your friends know what you're watching because we're kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
I think we're kind of
I think we are.
Yeah.
You know, so our first perception is that we're awesome.
Yeah, perceptions.
Yeah.
And we can be wrong. So are you guilty of first impressions, perceptions that you have? And what brought us onto all of this was we said perceptions. Now, who did you meet? Who did you see on TV, on a movie? And you went, oh my gosh, if I could ever meet this person, oh, my life would be so happy.
Oh, yes.
Who was your first love?
Yeah.
First crush.
Who's your first crush out there? I mean, we were looking for the folks that, you know, because we all fell in love with somebody on the big screen, or depending on how old you are, the silver screen. or who it was that you really liked came from the silver screen, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and Brian was teasing me because my first crush is Gene Kelly. I saw him in Singing in the Rain, you know, the guy who sings, I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. Gene Kelly was my, oh my gosh, first love crush. He was the first man I actually recognized as being someone else. Sam Elliott, see? Yes, yes, Wanda. I said him too because it was like, oh my goodness, that voice, that mustache. And I don't even like mustaches, but Sam Elliott, he can have a mustache. And so that's what started this conversation. We were sitting on the porch and we went,
but why Gene Kelly? He's so old.
He wasn't old when I saw him.
Oh, see, I remember him as old in the black and white, almost black and white movies.
Well, it was black and white. The thing is that he remained handsome until he died. I mean, he was just freaking beautiful. Same with Sam Elliott. He gets better and better with age. And so that's what started this conversation because
now we're on a, what do they call those things? A wine cooler commercial. It's better with age.
Wine coolers get better with age?
I don't know.
No, they don't. You're missing. So I asked Brian, so who was your first crush?
1980s. I definitely lived through the 1980s, and it was Molly Ringwald. All those teen movies with Molly and that red hair. Oh, yeah.
She was the girl next door.
She was the girl next door, let me tell you.
I wanted Gene Kelly to be the boy next door.
We all wish they would have lived next door.
And so then I asked my husband, because Brian is not my husband. For those of you who keep asking me on the side, he is not my husband. His wife is over there, and my husband's way over there. And so we were laughing about that because it's like, well, then, you know, what happened? Do you still have them? Is that still your crush, or did you change your perception of that person, right?
Yeah, she disappointed me.
She disappointed you?
She did, very much so.
See, Gene Kelly never disappointed me. Man was always so very wait. In Xanadu, he did disappoint.
Well, Molly disappointed me when she kissed Andrew McCarthy in Fresh Horses.
Because she cheated on you?
Yes, she cheated on me in the movies.
Nicholas, yes, Theron's just the hottest in the world. Yes, she is perfectly here. Oh, and then my husband, what cracks me up is he likes Winona Ryder. And so we asked him, well, then what made you not like Winona anymore? And he went, yeah, when she opened her mouth.
She started talking.
She was in another movie. And, you know, does Brian look like he's on green? Oh, he is. He looks like he's kind of floating.
Am I?
Yeah. So first perception is he's floating. He's not floating. We are literally on the porch. You can see by my hair blowing in the wind.
So what, I guess yours kind of died. That changed your perception, I suppose. So what we wanted to talk about was perception in the people that you meet.
Yes.
the people that you have, I would almost say fantasize about, because that's what it was when we had our first loves and all those other things. But when you meet somebody for the very first time and you just can't stand them.
And I can't stand him.
Yeah.
That's from the movie Singing in the Rain, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, like with me, in my case, I was using poor Brian. He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "When I first met you, I couldn't stand you." It was the first thing I thought was
Scary.
Don't really like this guy. And then my perception changed because of the association he had with other people. And I went, you know what? Not so bad after all. Now here we are doing a show together. So
Yeah.
first impressions aren't always what you think they are, right?
Right. I think it goes both ways,
Mhm.
because if you meet somebody and they're like the most awesomest person, and then you turn around and you watch, I don't know, you just see them in a different environment one day and they're totally jerks.
Oh, I did that with a speaker. I thought he was the most amazing speaker. Oh my goodness, he was just awesome.
Right.
And then I met him off stage and he was an absolute jerk. I mean, he was drinking and he was hitting on all the women. And I went, oh, right. First impression, very wrong, not who he is. And so who have you had in your life that, your first, oh, Sabrina says she married a guy, she didn't like him when she first met him.
So what did he do to change your mind? That was one of the questions that we had. How do you change that perception, if you even have a chance or even know that perception is there? It's like, I didn't know you didn't like me.
I was really good at
I had no idea. Yeah. Cordial until you actually found out you liked me. Is that it?
I'm still working on that part.
Oh.
Don't push your luck.
But can you change that perception if you're aware of that perception? I would kind of say yes. And sometimes change it by accident. Like, for instance, when I was doing Galaxy Fest and we had the weekend, it was one of those weekends I didn't sleep. So starting on Wednesday all the way till Sunday, I was lucky to get 3 or 4 hours a day. I got that. So I probably wasn't the best person to meet on that day or one of those days. However, 6 weeks later, I meet somebody that I met and they go, you are a real, we won't use the words, but, but now I actually kind of like you because you're not in that, I wasn't in that mode anymore. So, but can we do that on purpose? Can we change how we perceive people or how they perceive us?
Hi, my name is Michelle Moras. I'm a communications coach. That's really what I do, is I help people design who they are, to be authentically yourself so that your perception truly is who you are. So like a lot of people have met me and they see me and they do, this woman is unapproachable. She's kind of stuck up. And then they meet me and they do, okay, you're not like that at all. You're not stuck up. I do. Okay, when I'm on stage, I am on fire me. Okay.
Right.
So that's a different version of still me. I'm still the goofy, happy, laughing, poking on people kind of person. Anyways, so that's I liked what Wanda said, old classmates from high school.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, whether you were bullied, were you bullied by somebody and then you met them 30 years later and they're just the most giving and give you the heart off their sleeve kind of thing or whatever, wear their heart on their sleeve, times they are changing.
Well, Nicholas wrote perception versus impression. And my thought process with that is they're really the same, because the first impression you have of someone is, let's say, the school football player dude. He was always surrounded by people, so he kind of like was, untouchable, and he was kind of conceited looking.
Right.
And then you meet him 20 years later and you do, okay, well, he wasn't conceited. He was just overwhelmed. Yeah, he was overwhelmed by the pound him, so he just kind of was, and he didn't let himself step out. And you meet him 20 years later, like, hey, not a jerk. That's pretty cool.
Well, I think one thing that's interesting too is you can meet somebody in a group of people and then meet them one-on-one, and it's totally two different perceptions or impressions or whatever, because people will talk differently one-on-one than they do within a group. So when it comes to networking and stuff like that, it's always good to have the one-on-ones, because now you can get down to who the real person is. You can ask the stories, like, where are you from? What do you do? All those other kind of questions that you can't ask in a crowd.
Well, and I'm also thinking birds of a feather. You are judged. Your perception is geared off of who they see you around. So if you're a really good person, but you're hanging around a group of people who are not so great people, your perception that you give is that you are just like that crowd. And so I'll give an example of my husband again. My husband out with the druggies basically in college, and he had like the earrings and the shaved head and the hair.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so they met, you would see him and you do, okay, I might want to step away from him.
Right.
But he's actually polar opposite from that. He was just free among that group. So therefore he acted like that group. And
Right.
he was just free to be himself. So when you're making perceptions and when you have that first impression, give other people another chance. I know
Always.
that sounds crazy sometimes, but really give them another chance outside of their circle. If you don't like them, find out why. Because here's the thing, what I found. When I don't like someone, it's usually some characteristic in myself that I'm not comfortable with.
I always went with the fact that if I meet somebody for the first time, they could be in a bad mood. Something could have happened on a personal basis. It could be almost anything that you imagine that could be, wrong or having them come across as negative. But I also look at the fact that they haven't done anything wrong to me yet.
Yes.
So give them a chance as a person. And then if they turn around and they prove themselves to be jerks, then you can make that character call, if you will.
Well, and the other thing we were talking about was sometimes it's not the other person at all. It's your state of mind. So
Yes.
like if I'm in a bad mood or if I've had a day where I'm really not myself and then I meet someone, my perception is geared off of my emotional state. So I met Brian in a really messed up part of my life where I was really wondering, who am I? What am I going to do? I was lost. And so when I met him and he was very, he was gregarious and out in front of this big networking group and he was talking, he's doing, I do this and this, I do. What an arrogant jerk.
I've been accused of that before.
Yeah. And people have a misperception of people who are confident that they're jerks. And it's really not that. It's they've accepted who they are, right? So you don't judge a book by their cover, basically. You got to open a couple of the flaps.
To a certain degrees, yeah, for sure.
At least read the back flap.
Or the jacket.
Yeah, read the jacket. Find out a little bit more about them. So if you ever meet me and I say, well, let's meet. Because I want to see your eyes and I want to get to know that person, not the person that are in the group. So let's say LinkedIn. Right. Someone wrote me and said, hey, can you recommend me? I know a lot of your friends. And I said, well, that's nice. I'm not recommending you. I'm not going to recommend you. And he's like, why? I do. You may have all the common friends, but which one of my friends are you actually relating with? Does that make sense? Right. So I wanted to meet him one-on-one so I could get to know who he is. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that sounds cool. And I said, good, you passed test 1. He goes, what's that? I do. When you were willing to meet me.
Right.
And so you have your own parameters on how you will make perceptions and judgment calls on people. Because let's say the world's on virtual calls right now. Some people do not like cameras. Some people do not like that microphone. And so when they get onto a Zoom call, they're like this.
Well, sometimes we make impressions based on, in today's world on a Zoom call. We look at somebody and they're laying back in their bed. They're doing all kinds of weird things. If you're on the podcast, you can't see the things that are going on if you're listening. But people will lay back in their bed or they'll lounge on the couch and they just don't have that attentiveness. Is that really them? You have to ask your question that, or is it just the thing that they're in, and they don't think they're being seen, or they're sick.
They're sick and they're laying in bed, but they got on the call anyways, give them a break.
So maybe you want to meet with them later on after the call if they've got something that is of interest to you as far as how you can help each other out, those kind of things. If they can do that, then don't make the perception based on just that thing that you see over here on the Zoom screen. And do you judge a person if something goes across in the background? Do you judge them by that when it's probably not intentional?
Yeah,
Yeah,
out of their
you know.
control.
Yeah, if you Facebook it, there's all kinds of Zoom problems out there.
And I like to say that
Incidents.
there's 3 types of control of the world. There's my control, the other person's control, and there's God and the universe's. So,
Uh-huh.
what can you control? Your perceptions and how you perceive other people and what you judge other people on. And that's kind of what we went through. So I want to ask the other question.
What?
Really?
Which one?
Who was your first crush, and how did you lose that crush?
Oh yeah, where did it go? Why did it change?
Why did it change?
I know exactly why, because I told you Molly, with Molly Ringwald, she kissed Andrew McCarthy in the movie and all this other kind of stuff. So I had to change, and I felt I had to change anyway, and I picked Sandra Bullock because she was, she's
the other girl next door.
The other girl next door, and I had grown up a little bit, and Speed came out and different things like that. So I was really into her. And then she married some guy that just
You didn't approve of.
I didn't approve of him, and I felt like a father figure at that point. Why did you marry this guy? He is so not your type. But
your type in the movies,
right?
Yeah.
But that's based on the perception of what you see her in the movies or in the TV shows and stuff. But who she married, it's like, okay, more power to her, but no, don't approve. So I had to move on.
See, apparently I'm very, very, very good at first impressions because I've been pretty right with pretty much everyone except for Brian.
I'm always everybody's exception.
Oh, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of my first crushes. Okay, you're going to laugh at me. Of course, Gene Kelly's number 1.
Mind you, I'm not a crush. I'm just a likable guy.
Oh, just a likable guy. Yeah. No crush. But that was the other thing. Now, when I met my husband, Michael, I knew before I even spoke to him, I'm going to marry that guy. So, I mean, that perception it's very strong. You can either go and be right, or you can go and leave them and be completely wrong. So like when Sabrina said, I married the guy I didn't even like him at the first time. Well, she gave him a second chance, and now they're married, and they're very happily married. So that's the thing. Who are you perceiving, and what will shift that reality? So a lot of us make first impression choices off of looks. There's an aura. There's something about them, about their smile, their eyes, whatever it is. With me, with Gene Kelly, it was that he could dance and he could sing. I had no romantic ideas of him at all. It was just he was so freaking talented. No, if you want romantic ideas, that's Hugh Jackman. Call me. I mean, really, Hugh Jackman, you can call me anytime. I just want to sing and dance with you too. I might stand behind him while he's singing and dancing and watching him. But
there was some other guy you were mentioning that you wanted to climb.
Oh, that's Jason Momoa. I'll climb Jason Momoa. That man's beautiful.
Like climbing mountains. I can move mountains. Here's a mountain. I'm climbing it.
His wife might beat me up though.
Yeah, probably.
I'm pretty sure she could beat me up.
Goodness.
But yeah, so put it in the chat. Who was your crush? Because we now know Wanda has the same taste as me, Sam Elliott. And I know pretty much every boy in the world had Molly, and then Sandra Bullock, and then the other girl next door was Phoebe Cates.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. I did not like any mainstream what everybody else.
Well, during my time of growing up, if you will, I mean, there was Farrah Fawcett.
Oh yeah.
Can't forget her in the poster. Bo Derek, her in what was the name of that movie, Blue Oceans or whatever it was.
Yes, this should be shared with Hugh Jackman. Yes, because I want Hugh Jackman on the show. I want to sing and dance with him.
So you had the Farrah Fawcett's, and then as I got older, then it became. Remember Christine Applegate?
Oh gosh, she was so cute from
Married
with
Children.
Marriage. Yes, Jessica Alba was another major one.
Yeah,
there's
lots of them out there, and I think we
all
have.
Theron.
You wouldn't have Theron.
She's so pretty. I'd switch sides for Charlize Theron.
Wow.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She looks like a walking Barbie doll.
That's kind of weird.
She's perfection. Have you not seen her in that commercial where she walks out of the water and she's wearing a gold dress and she's walking?
I don't know, but I'm going to have to YouTube it, I guess, after this.
She's perfect. She's so pretty.
If you're willing to switch.
Well, the thing is with me, my perception, it's intelligence. So,
So you were looking at her intellect.
well, there's something about her face. She's a sharp lady, and she's got this determination in her eyes. I admire that.
That's good.
It's even with men. I do the same thing. So when I meet men, if they look very unsure of themselves,
Christian Dior.
it's it's a Christian Dior commercial.
I
You'd
think that
let
was
me,
who the
Michael?
producer-
Oh, you're so sweet. I'd let you go to Jessica Alba too.
Oh, wow.
I got permission. Everybody. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's giving me permission for Charlize Theron.
Goodness gracious.
It's a whole different show now.
Yeah. Leave your keys at the door, would you? Holy smokes.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't want to.
oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna.
What'd she say?
She had. It's not a crush, but she in the early 90s she met someone that she could not. She thought was horrible, and then it's been nearly 30 years later, and she's grateful that she's been able to become best friends during this time, and her daughter refers to her as her second mother. That's really cool.
Wow.
That's cool. So see,
So is that
first
due to people
impressions-
change? Is that fact due to people changing, or
It's both.
the
it's-
fact that you changed your opinion?
Well, your opinion, like I said, your perception of other people comes from what state you're in at that time, or what state they're in at that time. So you could have met that woman, and I'm referring to Anne. You could have met that woman when she was having a really rough time in her life, and she probably was kind of bitchy, and because you saw her in a bad time, you don't know. So like people I've met, and I thought, well, but they're really a bad mood. I really don't like them. Their pet, their favorite dog could have died. And you judge them off this one moment in time. And that's why we say, don't judge a book by its cover, because people are all going through their own things, and that you need to give them some leeway to realize that they are human, and humans have emotions, and we go through these up and down states. I like that, Anne. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Now I'm speechless.
What?
I don't know where to go with this now.
Okay, because then the other thing we were thinking about is who was your first, your first, I guess it would be attraction of the same sex in the movies, okay? that you saw and you're like, wow, that person is what I want to be when I grow up. I mean, I
would have to take this, considering our conversation before, I would have to take this to kind of that person that you idolize.
Yeah.
That you really look up to, that not necessarily, because when we started the first question, who would be your one night stand kind of thing, if nothing in the world mattered and you just had that chance, and who would it be? And then we took it to, and that was a little bit sexual, I guess,
Yeah,
a little romantic. But then when you switch it and say, okay, well, who do you approve? Who do you admire of the same sex?
I wrote my first book about the person I admired.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, eat, drink, and be merry.
Mary.
It was my TEDx. Eat, drink, and be merry. She was my math teacher in 10th grade, and I thought she was the most amazing, crazy, wonderful woman. That she was crazy beautiful, basically. And I wanted to be like her when I grew up. So I watched her, and I watched her so much that I eventually married her son. So I could be closer to her. I don't know. It sounds wrong, but I really admired who she was. And then meeting her son, I knew that he was a reflection of her. And so I wanted to be that kind of human that would raise another human that would be that cool. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I admire her a lot.
I think the night we talked about this, I chose Frank Sinatra.
You did.
Because he was so suave.
Debonair.
In his prime, suave and debonair, and he was a man's man, and those kind of things. I just thought he was just so cool, but he wasn't a mountain I could climb.
Jason Momoa.
There's one here. I like the one that Nicholas put up here. I got a kiss of one of my childhood crushes 40 years later.
Aww.
40 years later. I come back to that too. I've kind of got a story like that, but I haven't met her yet. I haven't met her again.
Who?
My very first in kindergarten. Her name was Tiffany Carr at the time, of course, and who knows whatever happened to her. She moved away or whatever, and she was the one that I gave a kiss on the cheek when we all had to stand in line and say goodbye to her. And they made us stand in line, come up, shake hands, give a hug, whatever. I kissed her instead. and she lived across the street from me, but I've never seen her since.
Aw.
After she left, I've tried looking for her just to see if I would even remember to recognize her. I mean, how do you recognize somebody from like kindergarten or the first grade?
Well, I can.
I can't.
One of my friends from I think it was second grade. His name is Steve Lippy, actually. So hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. If you're listening.
If you're listening, I connected with him on Facebook. He's got this lovely wife, but I remember liking him because of his eyes. He had huge eyes, just big brown. I like eyes.
What is it with girls and eyes?
I like eyes. He had big brown eyes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, my wife likes eyes too.
Really?
Yeah. Nicolas Cage.
It's the windows to their soul.
Is that what it is?
You can tell if someone's lying to you or not if you see their eyes.
Oh.
Well, at least I can.
Yeah.
If you ever meet my husband, he's got big old doe eyes also. I like big deer eyes.
Deer in a headlight look.
No, just big, innocent, sweet eyes. You can fall into them.
So it's not always the brains. It's not always brawn.
No,
It's the eyes.
it's not always the brawn, but it's the eyes because it's the gentleness of their soul that you can see.
Ah, I'd have to try that trick. Except for I'm married now, so it wouldn't matter.
No, doesn't matter. No, and with me, it's Anne says eyes and hands. Well, because if they have nasty hands, then they're not very kept.
What if they just got done working on the car?
Wash your dang hands.
just because a dude doesn't walk around with a manicure. I mean,
No, a manicure would be wrong. Okay, that's different.
What? What's wrong with a manicure? I have manicures.
Well, it's different. I mean, I just clean hands. It just has clean hands.
Okay, we've went off on a really bit of a track, but it's still based on first impressions.
It
wouldn't you
is
say?
first impressions.
I mean, because we're not asking them to take their shoes off and see their feet.
No,
That's just weird.
but it's a cleanliness thing about it. If they have nice hands, it means they've taken care of themselves somehow. I don't know why, but that's what my brain says.
Okay, it also means they don't work.
Not necessarily. Maybe they know how to wash their hands.
Well, you got dirt and calluses. Who's got? They might have big old manly hands. They work in the steel mills. What?
Brian's justifying his dirty hands.
They're not dirty. They're fine. Go ahead, zoom in on them.
Oh my gosh, where did we go?
I wonder, eyes and hands. Hands. I wonder what she means. The old myth. The bigger the hands, the better the soul.
No, I think the foot thing actually. The bigger the shoe. And our director says we can't go down this track.
I didn't say anything wrong. You can only take it the way you took it. I said the bigger the hands, the better the soul.
See, she says calluses are fine, grease on the hands are fine as long as they're working on an awesome classic. I can't make it.
A classic car. Yes.
That's what he does.
Sometimes.
Yeah. He works on cars all the time. That's why I was giving him a hard time. Yes, it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're gonna meet Anne. She'll be at the boot camp. Speaking of that, thank you for that segue. We really
that is a
mention
wonderful segue, Anne. Thank you.
Okay, what we wanted to announce to all of you.
Oh, wait a minute. Where are we at?
What?
Let's talk about ourselves first. Get our commercial in, and then we'll tell them all the story.
Oh, okay.
How's that?
Thank you for listening to Denim and Pearls.
Why do you have such an awesome voice for that? You need to be on the operator or something.
Thank you for calling Amazon Port.
Have you never booked yet?
I've narrated my own book so far.
Oh yeah?
Eat, Drink, and Be Merry.
Okay.
And then I used to be the voice in Omaha, Nebraska. I used to be the voice that said, "Thank you for calling Omaha Federal Credit Union. If you'd like to speak to a teller, please press 1.
You have it memorized still.
Yes.
It's been how many years?
About 30? Thank you for calling First National Bank of Omaha. And then I'm also the voice in a couple of movies.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That is impressive.
I'm not even doing a good job of it right now. I'm too busy giggling. But please, if you're watching Denim and Pearls right now from the porch, the Pearls of Wisdom from the porch, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Nicholas just put it. Yep, he did. He put the YouTube link in. We are desperately trying to get to, not trying. We are desperately seeking 200 subscribers so we can take the VIN number off of our YouTube page and put Denim and Pearl so we can be easily found. And if you could please share, like, and comment, and share it onto your pages that we are on Facebook and we are broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook, we would freaking love it because.
So if your first impression is that we're beautiful people, get it out there now before we change their mind. Did you catch that? So like and share and love us. Yes, we like to be loved.
But
okay, so
now what's the news for next week?
what is the news for next week?
The
This one's yours.
Yes, the Breakthrough Business Mastery Boot Camp with my friend Gary Barnes.
Yep.
We do a boot camp and we do a speaker boot camp together. But next week, we are going to be broadcasting Denim and Pearls live from the stage during the lunch hour. So we will not be coming on at noon. We're probably coming on around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So we really need you to push point. Right there. Yeah, push on that. No, look there. Push on that thing so that you know when we go live. Put on the alert on the little bell on YouTube so you know when we come on live. Just in case the program goes a little long, we don't come on at exactly 12:30.
Right.
You'll be able to catch us because we will have, get this?
What?
A live studio audience.
Ooh. Does that mean we're going to have laugh tracks too?
No, we're going to have a live audience.
Oh, okay. Maybe they'll laugh for us.
Yeah, maybe Ann will laugh for us. So when you hear laughter in the background, it'll be Ann.
Yeah, so if there's still, I don't know if there's still space or not. You might be able to just join the entire conference with us.
Oh, that's true. We're live streaming it.
Yeah.
We will put the link to the Breakthrough Business Mastery Bootcamp into this thread so that you can join us. And Ann, if you're there, since you know you have the link, share it into this chat because people can come on live and join us. That would be awesome.
Oh.
And we'll also be live streaming from where we are right now, too. I mean, well, not here, but
So-
on the platforms that we're on.
Live stream for the stage.
Yes.
Is this our first big break? From the stage.
From the stage.
Yes.
Yes.
We just won't have
Moving
a
on up. Yes, we are. Oh, yes. Yes, it's going to be hard not to laugh. We're kind of goofy.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. And without the wind
Oh, and we got a
blowing-
good topic too. A new topic.
We have a new topic.
Yeah, we have a topic to talk about.
What's
for
the
that.
topic for talking about? What's our topic?
Our topic for next week is going to be about making sure that you're taking care of your business.
Taking care of business.
Yeah.
Taking
there we
care of
go. There's
business
the title.
every day. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna
it is
do
about
that.
taking care of you, your business, your family, and the whole 9 yards, and some of the things that
Hi,
it
Carlene.
requires when you're a business person. And if you don't know some of this stuff, things like, I don't know, insurances and all kinds of weird things
Just
like
to
that.
cover your butt.
Yeah, anything to make your business better, and just in case something ever happens. So we're going to talk about that's going to be our topic, and we're going to talk to everybody about that one.
And the reason we're doing that topic in that business room is because there are nothing but business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs in that room. So it's the Breakthrough Business Mastery Bootcamp. So we have our topic geared for the people in that room.
Yes.
And you can still make comments because our producer will be there and they'll scream out questions to us. I'm quite sure. And
Is it formal? And they're going to have a microphone that they can just come up and ask the question.
yeah,
That'll be cool.
it's gonna be really cool.
So they could be live on our show
Yes,
without being their picture on there,
yes.
unless they run across stage and we have one of those oops moments.
Oh yes, they call them the streak. Look at it. No, please don't streak across the screen.
Yeah, please
no.
don't.
Please don't. And at least wear masks so we can't tell who you are.
Oh yeah.
Did I ever tell you that story?
Okay.
You don't even have a clue.
I have no
Not
idea.
the streak. My husband's grandmother. She was in, I want to say like gym class or something, and they were showering in the girls' locker room, and the boys broke into the locker room and came in, and all the other girls covered themselves. His mother,
As natural.
yeah, his grandmother just took the washcloth and covered her face. Is that not brilliant? Right? They can look all they want. They don't know who you are. I thought that was brilliant.
You think that fast though? Natural reaction is to do this.
Because she's smart. She went, don't
Yep.
even bother looking at who I am. You can see the body, just don't know who I am. I thought it was brilliant. I always think about that.
All right, I think it's that time.
I'm so glad we had this time together. I love
I'm so
Cara
glad
Burnett.
we had this time together.
Oh,
See,
Cara
that's
Burnett.
why I don't sing.
Cara Burnett was the other person I also admired.
And Lily Tomlin, I love her rocking chair.
Yeah. And that's,
Yep.
if you know who don't know what I'm doing, she always rocked on a gigantic rocking chair. And she says, and that's what I've got to say about that. She would rap.
So is that a wrap?
Is that a rap?
Is it in the can?
Well, so the next time you're out and about and you're wondering, I really like that person or I really don't like that person, think about where you're coming from, what attitude you're in at the moment, and why you don't like them and why you do like them.
At least to think about giving them another chance.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of how many people you met at a disco, in a bar or whatever, and you're like, God, I really like them. I'm going to marry them. And then you meet them the next day and do, what was I thinking? It was the alcohol talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the event. So, perceptions.
Are you guilty?
Are you guilty? And can you change your perception by changing who you are at the moment when you're meeting the other person? Because I am so glad I got to meet Brian again, because we have such a good time. And if I didn't give him a second chance, we wouldn't be on the porch today sharing with you. So, be aware of your impressions.
Like,
Share,
trust,
comment,
share.
Go to YouTube and subscribe. And the garbage truck is here, so it's time to go.
Perfect timing.
Have a great day, everybody. See you next week.
Peace.